So Danny's video was meant to come out a while ago, and if any of you guys seen the drama that I had with Danny on Twitter, which if you didn't, you should peep my videos that I did on PenFlute about him, they're pretty good, and basically how this all started was that every here and there Danny would throw pot shots at Blaze, but whenever people like me would defend him, Danny would either ignore us or just not say anything and like his friends' tweets responding to me. But that all culminated in Danny blocking K9 and anyone he deems close to us. Now, I have no idea why the only person out of our group Danny responded to was Blaze. Maybe it's no surprise that he goes so hard on the people kindest out of us, since he thinks that he can take advantage of that, and in Danny's eyes, the evil Cloud9 would just bully him. Which, I mean, if you take this video as bullying, then sure, but I see it as me defending a buddy of mine who Danny keeps shitting on for no reason. And also just a minor nitpick before I play the video, but it's backfires, not backfire. But that's neither here nor there. Anyways.
Hey guys, what's up?
Let's turn it up.
BlazeTheMovieFan, and I know what I'm about to talk about in this video happened about a month ago, but the thing is, I like to plan a month ahead of time. That way, I have more than enough time to think about what I want to say before I make the video.
No worries, my friend. Usually it takes me a while to figure out what I want to say in my videos too.
Because Danny needs some time to form a hug box on Twitter shitting on someone so he can take their argument off of them and basically parrot it in his video.
Anyway, as I have made clear in previous videos, I hate Steve Shives. He is, in my opinion, one of the worst YouTubers ever.
Really, YouTube is a platform that harbors prank channels that go way too far, channels defending pedophilia.
I'm pretty sure MDA was a pedophile more than just defending it, but, you know, not necessarily wrong, just kind of leaving out a bit of a big detail there.
A community of misogynists and racists, and someone who thinks rape should be legalized. And you think Steve Shives is worse than all of them.
Well, he said one of the worst, so there's no way to take from that Blaze thinks Steve is worse than pedophiles and rape defenders.
But before I talk about exactly what happened to him, I am gonna explain exactly what the VidCon is. VidCon is a place where a lot of YouTubers can come together and discuss things. Or at least that's what it's supposed to be. But unfortunately, VidCon has gone downhill for the past few years. I will never forget the incident that happened at VidCon back in 2017. And it still pisses me off even to this day.
Even though this video is meant to be about Steve Shives, BlazeTheMovieFan still finds a way to shoehorn in some hatred towards Anita Sarkeesian. Because one can't truly be neutral about feminism without expressing the exact same hatred towards Anita that his idol War Corpse displays.
Implying that War Corpse is Blaze's idol based on him agreeing with his views on Anita is a pretty dumb argument, since plenty of people dislike Anita from different sides of the field, so it's not like that really gets Blaze on any point, does it?
For those of you who don't know what happened, well, basically, Anita Sarkeesian called Carl Benjamin a garbage human. I have made a video talking about that back in 2017. You might want to check it out. Anyway, the reason why that pisses me off is because Sargon did absolutely nothing wrong.
Except for the time he blamed feminism for Elliot Rodgers' shooting spree in response to a Lacey Green video. And that time he
Alright, so this part of the video is basically talking about how he thinks Sargon of Akkad is a garbage human being, which I will have to say that I do agree with Danny on, that Anita definitely has a point about that, since around this part of the video he brings up about Sargon bringing up the age of consent and shit, which I will play right now.
On adults having sex with minors.
I was well under the age of 11 when I started having sex, and so what I like to do is put people on the other side of the argument. It's like, what you have to do is you have to say that someone like me, not anybody else, but me, that I was too stupid to appreciate the nature and quality of what I was doing at the time. So please convince me I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, I think it's, it depends on the child, really, doesn't it? Because
so basically Sargon's saying that it's more of a case-by-case thing about pedophilia and shit, which obviously, yeah, I don't agree with him on. I think that makes him a dumbass. Also, not to mention that one time on Twitter where he said He wanted to troll the left by posting child porn on his Twitter, but he would delete it in a second, so not to worry, because apparently the police would see that he deleted it in 1 second and be like, oh yeah, he's not a pedophile, he got rid of that. Let's not investigate him in any way. So yeah, Sargon's a dipshit. What else is new?
See if they're true, instead of taking the anti-feminist in question at their word. But he doesn't do that. Really, the only good thing Sargon has done is destroyed UKIP's credibility in the most recent parliamentary election.
Unfortunately,
Also, just to say, I disagree how that somehow makes Blaze not neutral because he took Sargon's word, considering that he hadn't seen any evidence to the contrary. So what the fuck else was Blaze supposed to believe? Because the way I see it, Blaze is the type of person where if evidence is presented to him, then he will accept it, and he will agree with it as true. Take, for example, the video he's putting on the screen now is by Nate Talks to You, and you know that yours truly thinks that Nate Talks to You is a dipshit, and Blaze is quite aware of that fact. He's watched both of my videos on Native, I believe, and I'm pretty sure you can find the comments of him commenting on the video being like, wow, I didn't know Nate had a tendency to take people out of context. This knocks his credibility as a person. So, yeah, there you go. It shows that Blaze is willing to hear both sides, and as much as he may agree with Nate on this one particular instance, which I disagree with him on because I think Nate's video is pretty flawed, but with that said, I don't really think that makes him not neutral, considering that's just a matter of opinion.
things very much better at VidCon the next year, 2018. In fact, what happened at VidCon last year fucking disgusts me. There is a very good video I recommend which goes into full detail on what exactly happened at VidCon last year. If you want more information, a link to Nate Talks to You's video talking about it is in the video description below. Now I know that some of you don't like Nate Talks to You.
Gee, I wonder why.
Alright, I'm gonna skip this part just because we've already addressed this.
By other anti-feminist YouTubers who quote mine and Anita to hell and back to make her points seem less reasonable than they actually are. I don't have enough time to refute every criticism Anita has received, so in the description is a link to a rational wiki page that does a much better job at doing so.
Yeah, what a surprise that Danny couldn't think of an argument on his own, so he had to use someone else's word as an example. And I'm not saying that citing something in a video is wrong, because it's fine to do, but considering that 95% of Danny's arguments are taken from other people and straight up plagiarized at times, I can't really see it as that shocking that, yet again, he can't debunk something as he should see so simple as a Nate video. And as someone who disagrees with Nate's video myself, I could easily do that. In fact, let's do it right now.
A place for content creators to come together and share their differing ideas. Or at least it used to be. But as the political divide in America grows wider and wider, having a civil, open, and honest conversation has become increasingly difficult. And as we're about to see...
Says the same guy who blocked me and Emery for saying he's a feminist when he admitted it to Emery.
We made a mistake. More security staff will be added to try and prevent another incident. More security
Also skipping, since I'm not going to go over the whole video, I just want to briefly go over some of the dumb shit Nate said. So, 2 roasts for the price of 1 video. You're welcome, everyone. Let's go here.
Okay, so to give some context, which is missing from the article,
Mr. Nate really concerned about context when he removes it from his own videos. Let's skip to around here.
Any YouTubers like Carl Benjamin. VidCon last year that made Sarkeesian's appearance so stressful? When Sarkeesian addressed Benjamin and his pal sitting in the first few rows in an attempt to antagonize her, Benjamin started yelling back about his right to debate her. Now, pay attention to the wording they use in the article. Sarkeesian addressed Benjamin. Attempt to antagonize her. Benjamin started yelling back. It puts this image in your mind of a belligerent Benjamin and a civil Sarkeesian.
This 4th graders learned alliteration.
Verify what really happened.
And we have all the shitlords in the front row.
Oh yes, look at how antagonistic they're being, just sitting there calmly and patiently.
He's just standing there, menacingly.
Because YouTubers who dislike you vehemently sitting in the front row of your venue is supposed to mean nothing. I mean, I'm not saying he's gonna hurt her. Oh, come on, Nate, it's pretty obvious it was meant to annoy her. Also skipping, since I'll be addressing the shit that Nate says in this part in the rest of the video, so let's just go over this bit.
Anita is the antagonizer, and this would not be
Okay.
the only incident at VidCon that year. Later on at a cyberbullying panel, which also featured Boogie, one of the nicest people on YouTube.
Yeah, nice in the same way the running community considers you and people like Shades nice, maybe.
You leave feeling empowered, and you leave riled up and angry and pissed. Like, if you were a white person, you should be talking to other white people about white supremacy and your privilege. If you were a man, you should be talking to other men about it.
But Boogie had a more positive message.
And I think if you want to make your community better, I think the best thing you can do is fill that community with positivity.
Yeah, positivity like JonTron espousing Nazi talking points and Boogie berating people on Twitter because they won't debate him during a temper tantrum. His niceness is a front. Also skipping this part since Nate just decides to play clips from Boogie's video, this lady's video, and at some point, I'm pretty sure, yep, Philip DeFranco's video, since, God forbid, the video can't be something like 4 minutes long. He has to stretch it as long as he can fucking make it, so let's go to this part.
At this point, VidCon might as well change their name to Echo Chamber.
Good one.
With all of Sarkeesian's critics banned, leaving only her dwindling fan base in the room, it's gonna echo like crazy in there.
And then we got off stage.
And then Nate plays a clip from the same interview where Boogie says that gay people maybe should have waited a little bit longer before pushing for crazy shit like, I don't know, gay marriage. So yeah, personally, not a fan of this video. Had to give it a dislike. Yeah, not a good video, Nate. Don't agree. So yeah.
But the fact that Sargon got banned for doing nothing wrong absolutely fucking disgusts me. He did not deserve it at all. And neither did Computing Forever. Because just like Sargon, he didn't do anything wrong either.
Note to self. Do commentary towards Computing Forever sometime in the distant future.
I have no idea who Computing Forever is, so I can't really say one way or the other about how I feel about him being banned. So, yeah.
Anita was clearly lying about what happened. And the thing is, you can easily prove that.
It's funny how Anita is accused of lying about everything, yet the anti-SJW community will believe any claim by one of their own. It's almost like they're more interested in the narrative than any kind of logic, reason, or skepticism.
Now that I'm done giving you some history on the terrible things that happened at VidCon for the past few years, let's talk about something that happened about a month ago. Steve Shaves was rewarded $2,000. And why was he rewarded that? Well, he was rewarded that for no reason. Now let me break this for you. Steve Shaves has done absolutely nothing to help out the YouTube community.
You mean because he blocks people on Twitter? Or because he does...
He does more than just block people on Twitter, let's be real. The dude said calling people stupid is ableist and pretty much wants to make it so that instead of calling someone stupid, he calls someone inadequate or some shit like that, because it's not like insults are meant to hurt the person you're calling's feelings, right?
Doesn't want to be friends with people who think befriending the alt-right is okay because it's just different political ideas, yet won't touch anyone to the left of center because they have SJW cooties. Considering the people who do that also left it up about the skeptic feminist murder, believe bearing...
You say this as if you're like trying to lump Blaze in the same category as well, which is kind of fucked up.
To this day, spread the Heather Heyer she's fat and had a heart attack myth, refuse to distance themselves from the alt-right, and so on. Can you really blame him for not wanting to be besties with them?
Also, maybe the reason that the alt-right believes the rumors about you is because you're too much of a pussy to respond to any of the claims. Like when Undoomed accused you of being creepy to women in leftist circles and his fans were replying, your only response was that Undoomed wasn't worth your time. The same reason you gave for not debating me and pretty much anyone else you get into conflict with. It's a bit easy for people to believe it when you run away. You should know, since that was one of the big reasons why people knew MDA was guilty before he did his damage control video, because he was too scared to address anything. So even if you are totally innocent, your approach to conflict just shoots yourself in the foot.
reward someone who doesn't care about helping the YouTube community in the slightest. Most of the YouTube community fucking hates him, and for legitimate reasons too.
Actually, most of YouTube has no idea who he is. Fun fact,
Well, he's referring to the people that do know him, obviously, Brainiac.
Who are sick of the anti-feminist narrative going unchallenged and want an alternative to the mediocre pop feminism of BuzzFeed and the white feminism of celebrities like Taylor Swift and Beyonce. Yes, people of color can be white feminists. Granted, they deserve a better alternative than BreadTube, especially concerning their history of cyberbullying and ableism, Peter Coffin thinking victims of hate crimes are lying, BreadTube defending a sexual predator in the form of Bosch, who would go on to make transphobic comments, and Eric Taxon and Jack Saint spreading social justice demons childhood sexual abuse to 11,000 people after she told him to get lost when Eric said rapists shouldn't be ostracized, and then proceeded to blackmail her. But that's another video for another day.
Just throwing it out there that Danny's cool with racism so long as it comes from his friends, and constantly gave follow Fridays to Jordan Dunsmore, who was notorious for sexually harassing leftist women because he was thirsty 24/7. Since Danny wants to get on others for being chummy with shitbags, you might want to check yourself first, Danny, before you throw stones.
If you know a lot about Steve Shives and what he's about, it is very obvious what point he was trying to get across with that video. He wants everybody who he disagrees with deplatformed.
Everyone someone disagrees with is a weasel phrase used by anti-SJWs in order to try to normalize the kind of extremism being denounced. Like when a Nazi
Not necessarily. That can be a valid claim to say when there are people like you and Steve Shives that do exist, that do block people for frivolous reasons. So, yes, the argument you're about to say about how, oh, not everyone you call's a Nazi, yeah, that's retarded when people are using it in the context of saying, well, Richard Spencer isn't really a Nazi, when he fucking obviously is. But you're trying to apply it in a situation where it totally is a valid thing for Blaze to say.
It's back. Everyone you disagree with is a Nazi. They're trying to paint themselves as normal people with normal political views. Might want to be careful using that weasel phrase. However,
you want to talk about being a weasel, buddy?
People he disagrees with. It's just that there's a difference between how much should the wealthy be taxed and do marginalized groups deserve basic rights. Someone like Milo Yiannopoulos isn't just your average person he disagrees with. Of course, now the anti-SJW community has disowned him, but it took him being pro-pedophilia exposed and doubling down on that for
I don't get why you're trying to twist the narrative that Steve Shives doesn't block people and won't talk to people he disagrees with, because after all, you'd be the last person I expect to have a problem with blocking people and refusing to debate them over the ounce of criticism. Just fucking own it, man. You and him don't like to talk to people you don't agree with 100%. Just admit it, the evidence is there.
In fact, he has even admitted in some of his videos that he is trying to get people that he disagrees with banned from YouTube. So wait, Con, let me ask a perfectly legitimate question. Why would you reward someone who wants to deplatform people that he doesn't agree with?
His reason for wanting Sargon to platform isn't just different ideas. It's the fact that Carl Swindon has shown himself to be a troll who will side with whoever benefits him at any given moment. Once people realize that he's nothing but a pseudo-intellectual who can use moderately fancy words in a posh British accent in order to trick people into thinking he's smart, his fan base began to evaporate. Sure, he has 1 million subscribers, but he's no longer got the pull he did back in the day.
He has also
1 million subscribers is nothing.
He has slandered many people in the political community. He has lied when he said that he don't have a problem with people who disagree with him.
Depends on what the disagreement is. Disagreeing about whether to tax the rich or boot the rich entirely is a disagreement. Disagreeing about whether or not trans women are women, or if Jews are part of some weird international conspiracy, or if black people have a crime gene, is not disagreement on ideas, but one side dehumanizing another group of
I mean, I can keep repeating myself, but I think I made my point on both Steve Shives and Danny being able to tolerate the most minor disagreement pretty clear.
So now I'm going to talk about who actually does, and that is the armored skeptic. He's the nicest person in the political community that I can think of.
Armored skeptic? Seriously? I mean, okay, he's not the worst in the anti-SJW community. I'll give you that. But being more amicable than Undoomed or Richard Spencer isn't exactly worthy of anything except not as big of a douchebag as these guys.
I mean, yeah, I don't really care that much about Skeptic.
He responds to, and he is very open to discussions, and he actually wants to interact with people which he disagrees with.
I will say this. He's a little less give the Nazis a pass, put the SJWs on blast than the rest of the skeptic community, but he's still biased. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I think he'll side with someone like Tara McCarthy.
No idea who that is.
And that's sad.
Now, of course, I'm not saying that he is perfect. In fact, I know that he got some of his facts wrong in a few of his videos.
Armored Skeptic has gotten more and more wrong in his videos over time. Various people have debunked his video on postmodernism.
Now, back when I made my video about a year ago, explaining why I hate Steve Shives, I unsubscribed from him. Because I thought there would be no point in watching his content anymore, since he's pretty much a dead horse. But you know what? I've decided that I am going to resubscribe to him. Yeah, I share it. Now, it is very unlikely that I am going to make another video on Steve Shives, but some of his content does interest me.
Huh, I'm surprised. If you're sincere...
Wow, almost as if Blaze isn't being fake about his neutrality and can, in fact, like people from both the left and right. And I don't know why that's so hard for you to believe. There's so many people I know that aren't political and end up getting opinions from both sides. In fact, most people in real life are like that, I would say, if politics isn't their passion.
I'm actually surprised. Steve's probably still going to block you, though, because you made a video calling him one of the worst people on YouTube. And honestly,
Yeah, one of the worst, not the worst, so I don't know why you try to twist the narrative to that multiple times in the video.
One of those people who subscribe to someone just to dislike their content. I would never do something like that. That would be despicable. Even if I hate the person, I still try my best to be as open-minded as possible when I watch the videos made by the people I'm subscribed to. Because I know that bad people can still make good points. I still don't like Steve Shives, but I am interested in his future content for sure.
Well, it's nice to see that you have standards at least. I'll give you that. I will say, though, that I'm thoroughly unimpressed by your video response to Steve Shives. There's so many people you could have called the worst YouTuber that I would have been...
You literally just said one of the worst, and now you're going back to how he said it's the worst. You took all this time to do this shitty response video, and you can't even remember the words coming out of Blaze's mouth just a second ago, or even the words coming out of your mouth. I mean, I guess it's always been easier for you to defeat a straw man than it is to actually refute something honestly.
Kill a commie for mommy.
Don't kill my mommy. Oh, hello 2007.
Spencer, Black Pigeon Speaks, Tara McCarthy, Paul Joseph Watson, Rage After Storm, Milo Yiannopoulos, Alex Jones, Steven Crowder, Evalion, Bearing, Atheism is Unstoppable, Undoomed, Computing Forever, Sargon, Teal Deer, people who have...
And Emery Bowman, and Lachlan, and Marbles, and all that people in Cloud9, like that rapist defending asshole Noah. Those jerks too, let's not forget them.
Lied about people. Lied about statistics to advance a cause. People who have sent armies of their fans after people they disagreed with. People who have shown...
I mean, I wouldn't go out of my way to encourage everyone who was watching this to dislike your video, but just in case you guys don't know, the dislike button is right there, so do what you will. I mean, the majority seems to be in the favor of my side that this is a fucking stupid video, and that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Danny. So, yeah, might be a surprise that people might end up fucking disliking this video. Who would have known? Generally, when you tend to make shit up about people, it's very easy for people to have a fucking issue with it.
Themselves to be vile scumbags with no redeeming characteristics whatsoever. With this plethora of pathetic parasites, your worst YouTuber is Steve Shives because he...
One of the worst.
People. Come on.
More than just blocking people.
You don't have to like Steve Shives, but come on. Have some perspective before you call someone a worst YouTuber or anything like that. Well, that...
Yeah, a worst YouTuber would be more like someone like Danny Korcz. And that is the end of that video, which was a total pile of dog shit, so... Just gotta say to Danny, that was a terrible fucking video, and it is just yet again another attempt of you trying to prove Blaze of somehow being dishonest with his claim about being neutral, even though it's quite obvious that Blaze is being sincere with his neutrality. I mean, there's even a part in your video where you fucking prove that, where he's talking about how he's open-minded into looking into Steve Shives' stuff, so yeah. Next time, do a better job at actually fucking proving people wrong, and hey, maybe you'll actually respond to this video, but I'm not gonna hold my breath on that one, since Danny is too much of a pussy to confront someone like me directly, which I think is fucking hilarious. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed, but for now, ta-ta.